What's up, YouTube? I am here with a video to give you guys about how the brain sees us as human. So stay tuned and sit there, get your popcorn, get your candy and your soda, and don't miss a beat. So one day when you guys are out and about or in a room with people, I want you to take a moment, look around the room, notice the faces, the expressions, the way the people sit, breathe, and just listen. Now here's the question. Are you actually seeing the people around you? Or is your brain filling in the picture for you? Because the truth is, you don't experience reality directly. You experience your brain's interpretation of it. So let's talk about how the brain decides who we are, what we're capable of, and why two people can live in the same world, but yet experience completely different realities. Our brain is a survival machine. Not a truth machine, but a survival machine. And no, the human brain didn't evolve to make us happy, nor did it evolve to help us reach our goals. It didn't even evolve to help us tell the truth. It didn't evolve to tell us the truth. The brain evolved for survival. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors didn't need confidence, nor did they need self-belief. They needed to avoid predators, find food, and stay alive. So the brain became incredibly good at one thing, predicting danger and conserving energy. And I'm sorry to tell you, but that brain today is the same brain that's running you right now. Which means your brain doesn't ask you what's possible for me. It asks what's familiar, what's safe, and what keeps me alive with the least effort. And that changes how the brain sees you. Your brain sees you as a collection of patterns. Your brain don't see you as your potential. It sees you as a habit. It sees what you've done before, what you failed at, how you reacted in the past, and everything that you've repeated. So that leaves it, the brain is data. Or shall I say, to the brain, you are data. If you've doubted yourself repeatedly, your brain labels you as someone who doubts. If you're someone who stayed quiet to avoid conflict, your brain has labeled you as someone who stays small. And if you've quit before, your brain doesn't call it growth. It calls it doubt. So don't ever quit. So if you've quit before, your brain doesn't call it growth. It calls it identity. And I know sometimes change feels hard. And most of the time, change is uncomfortable, feels uncomfortable. And when you're trying to grow, your brain doesn't say congratulations, you're evolving. It says, warning, this behavior is unfamiliar. And unfamiliar definitely feels dangerous to the brain. That's why trying different things, starting a business feels scary. Speaking up feels risky. And believing in yourself feels unnatural. As well as success can feel uncomfortable. And it's not because you're incapable, but it's because your brain is definitely trying to keep you in known territory. And growth sometimes feel like a threat just until it becomes familiar. And did you know that your brain predicts reality before you even experience it? And here's something powerful. Your brain predicts something before you even see it. Or shall I say, your brain predicts what you're going to see before you actually see it. So that means that your brain acts as a filter, or your beliefs acts as a filter. So if you believe people can't be trusted, your brain shows you proof, brings you proof to back up what you're saying as far as. So if the brain learns through repetition, that means change also happens through repetition. You can't rewire the brain with motivation alone. You have to rewire it rewire it with consistent evidence. And that's small actions repeated daily for all the line with the identity that you're looking for, or the identity that you want. And each action says to the brain, this is who we are now. And slowly, resistance fades, fear quits, and confidence becomes familiar. Now, the brain believes what you act on. It don't believe what you say. It believes what you do on a consistent basis, repeatedly. You can say, I'm confident, but if you avoid opportunities, the brain says, no, we avoid. You can say, I'm confident, but but you avoid opportunities, the brain says, no, we're cautious. You can say, I'm disciplined, but if you quit when it's hard, the brain says, no, we stop when it's uncomfortable. Action is the language of the brain. So now, becoming human on purpose. So the brain sees us as humans, not as dreamers, not as potential, nor as who we could become. It sees us as patterns, habits, repetition, as well as survival strategies. But the beautiful thing about it is, humans are the only species to override instincts with intentions. You can teach your brain a new identity. You can teach your brain or show your brain a new identity of yourself. And that's how you make growth familiar. And that's not overnight, of course. And not perfectly, but definitely intentionally. And when you do this, your brain won't fight you because it's the new identity, the new version of yourself. It will definitely follow you because at the end of the day, the brain isn't your enemy. It's definitely your most powerful tool once you learn how to use it. So learn how to use your brain. If you believe that people can be trusted, your brain is definitely going to look for the proof. If you say, I'm not good enough, your brain is definitely going to highlight mistakes. And if you say money is hard to get, your brain is definitely going to notice the scarcity. So it's going to make it impossible for you to get money. And you don't want that. And you can have two people walk in the same room, and one of them's going to see opportunities and the other one's going to see obstacles. So you got same room, different brains, different realities. And did you know that your brain treats thoughts as instructions? Your brain don't know the difference between something that you imagine, something that you say repeatedly, something that you experience. And that's why affirmations work, visualization works, only if it's done correctly on a consistent basis. And also, negative talk is so self-damaging. So So every time you say, I can't do this, or I'm always running behind, or this never works for me, then your brain says, understood, updating identity. And once your identity is updated, your brain will guide your actions to match it. Now, ain't that something? And that's not because it hates you, but it's because it wants consistency. And the brain loves familiar pain over familiar freedom. And here's the hard truth. Your brain will choose unfamiliar pain over unfamiliar freedom. Boy, that's tough. And that's exactly why people stay in jobs that they hate, or relationships that drain them, and mindsets that limit them. And that's because it's like, at least the pain is predictable. And the brain says, I know how to survive this. And even if there's more on the other side, the unknown feels very riskier than the known struggle. Now that's just crazy now. Now let's say how the brain sees other humans. And your brain doesn't see other people objectively either. It categorizes them as a friend or a threat, similar or different, or safe or unsafe. And all this happens in milliseconds, quicker than you can blink. And if you don't know, your past experience shapes how you view other people because of what you've gone through in your past. And if you have one bad experience, it teaches people like this are dangerous. And once it's labeled, the brain filters behavior to confirm it. And that's why misunderstandings happen, as well as judgment. And that's when empathy takes effort. Now let's talk about aware. Being aware is an upgrade. Now here's the good news. You are not your brain. You are the one observing your brain. The moment you notice a fear pattern, a limiting belief, or a negative thought, you have already stepped out of autopilot. Remember, awareness is the upgrade. So you might want to pause and ask yourself, is this thought limiting me or is it protecting me? You create your space. And in that space, choice is born. See you guys later. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.